Well, well, well. You had a cheat day. You're gonna be sick now. You gotta go to the hospital. You need another pill. It's the end. You can't do keto no more. You've cheated. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Look, aside from my serious side, the only reason I do that is because I understand a little bit more about what's going on typically than the average person does inside the body. I spend a little bit more time researching and following things instead of just staying on my perspective journey and staying in my lane. Oh my God. God forbid you should give somebody else advice. Now you're the keto police because you're talking about somebody else's journey. Wrong. Try again. It's not that at all. I wanted to share my cheat with you guys a couple months ago. I kept it very discreet and very quiet. It's about the second month of going carnivore. I wanted to see the effect of slipping, purposely cheating, to see what would happen if I just didn't eat keto for a day, for one meal. So it was about the second month in. I'm starting to get pretty serious carnivore at this point. 0 carb, as low as I possibly can. If I was getting carbs, it was from either cheese, which I don't think it was more from egg. And for some reason, I don't feel the effect from carbs with eggs. But if I do feel it, it comes from vegetables, the fiber and stuff like that. I can't take it. I cannot take the fruit, the fiber and stuff from regular vegetables. So I went out. I went to a Mexican restaurant. I had probably a whole giant bowl of tortilla chips, GMO, probably processed junk, full of crap oil and everything else. And I had a ribeye steak meal with shrimp. It was covered in fake queso cheese that was probably the nastiest cheese you probably get anywhere. And it was so delicious. The shrimp had all kinds of different seasonings and stuff on it. Probably half of it wasn't even close to being healthy. The ribeye steak looked like it was the most hormonally grown steak you could probably get anywhere. I mean, it was so flat and flabby and stretched out and everything else, but it was freaking amazing. And fries came with it as well. I ordered a whole side order of fries, a massive half a plate full of fries. And the queso was a big giant bowl of queso that was full all the way to the top. And I dipped every single piece of food in that queso dip. And I enjoyed every single bit of it. Now, let me decipher between why I did it and why a new person shouldn't do it. I've been doing this for over 2 years now. I am prior military, so I have a lot of strength built up in me in general. I don't get swayed by things very easy. I have a lot of control over my body. I've learned over the 10 years of being low carb, keto, and carnivore that you can do things like that once you've gained complete control over your body. Now, let's clarify how I felt afterwards. If I did it on keto, I would feel trashy, complete trash. 2, 3, 4 days, headaches, lethargy, can't sleep. There's something about being on a carnivore diet. Your cravings go away. You don't crave things nowhere near as much. It's much easier to just say, I'm done, and give it up. It's almost like your body releases the need to have the things that you used to think you needed. It's gone. It just like almost disappears. And it's not just me. It's not something that's just anecdotal in my situation. I don't know how many times I've read cases and stories and stuff on people that say, when I went on a carnivorous diet, I just didn't want artificial sweetener anymore. I didn't need all the extra fat and stuff in my coffee. I was very, very happy and extremely satisfied with just eating animal products. Such a powerful statement. And that's how I felt. The next day I went right back to carnivore. Started eating carnivore and eating plenty of meat, 2.5, 3 pounds of meat a day. If I wanted cheese and eggs, I would eat that stuff too, even though some people don't have dairy. I would. I never felt sick. Had a little bit of a light pressure in my head. It was gone in 12 hours. There's something about being on a carnivorous diet that allows you to fall off and rebound much easier than keto. Keto is a godsend, don't get me wrong. Keto changed my life. Keto got my health straight. I didn't think there would ever be anything better than keto. I was wrong. I was wrong, especially for people with conditions like autoimmune. I was wrong for people with conditions that can't handle all the fiber and stuff, even the complex carbs and stuff that's from vegetables, because they're just that sensitive to it. I was wrong. Carnivore has taken it to the next level. I was in almost a 2.5 month stall on keto. Went carnivore, dropped another 11 pounds within like the first 4 weeks. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It's one of those things where you can almost eat whatever you want and you will not gain weight, especially after you've been doing it for a few months. In the beginning, you might experience that, little diarrhea and stuff, irregular bowel movements, but not constipation like the vegans like to call it. Not at all. Make sure you have plenty of fat, you drink plenty of water, you keep up on your electrolytes, you're golden, baby. That's all it takes. Most people on the carnivore group that I admin do not track. They don't track at all. They just eat. They make sure they're satisfied, and they don't gain weight. They lose weight, if anything. The biggest mistake that I found so far was the calorie restriction stuff. If you're on a carnivorous diet and you're focused on calorie restriction because you actually believe calories in versus calories out, you are not going to benefit. I consumed an extra 1,000 calories purposely per day for 3 weeks on a carnivorous diet. 2.5 pounds of beef, 10 eggs, and still lost weight. Still lost weight. Calories in versus calories out does not work. It is not a good measure on how you're going to adjust your weight loss or track your weight loss. Just eat on a carnivorous diet. Just eat good food. Don't focus on monster drinks. Don't focus on having tons of coffee and stuff like that, because believe it or not, excessive caffeine, excessive coffee will tax your cortisol production. It can do some things to you as well. And especially if you don't get a coffee that's real kosher with the acidity. If you pour a cup of coffee and you just wait, you let it sit there, you can almost see the acid film form on the top of the coffee. That's the stuff that settles in your stomach. There are coffees out there that they say don't do that, or there's a specific way you can brew it to make sure that doesn't happen. But I cheated, and I felt great doing it. And if I ever wanted to do it again, I'm glad I'm on a carnivorous diet, because on a keto diet I'd feel like death. But on carnivore, I did it, I enjoyed it, I gained enough control over myself to where I didn't have to go back to it again. I just cooked another 20-ounce ribeye or 16-ounce ribeye or a New York strip or a bunch of eggs with cheese. I was completely fine. Never had to go back to it at all. Never had a rebound effect. Never even thought about, oh, well, I think I'll do that one more time because that was pretty satisfying last night and I don't have a headache. There's something about eating a carnivorous lifestyle that allows you more freedom, it allows you more control, and allows you to have less cravings when you're on your journey. So it's something to think about, guys. If you haven't tried a carnivorous diet, you might want to think about it. If you just want some information, you just want to watch people do it, message me on here. In the link below, I'm going to post the link to my Facebook carnivore group that I help admin. We have a wonderful group. Dr. Ken Berry's on there. I'm trying to get Sean Baker on there if he'll ever talk to me because he's very busy. There's a lot of people that follow Dr. Berry on there that are in his carnivorous challenge. So if anybody is interested at all, please, not only do I want you to subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, ring the little bell thing. You can, you don't have to. Please do. Maybe you click on the link in the box below. It's going to ask you how you heard about the group. No, it won't ask you how you heard about the group. It's going to ask you if you agree to respect everybody and not beat information down people's throats. Just be respectful, hear different opinions, network, that kind of thing. And maybe in there you can put, Rich told me about the group on YouTube, or YouTube, I agree. Because if you don't agree, we're not going to accept you into the group. We want everybody to be heard. but we kind of monitor a lot of the crazy things that are said, because a lot of people like to come on there from other carnivore groups and bash keto people for it, and that's not acceptable, because we have carnivore people and keto people, and they actually like to go carnivore for 3 or 4 weeks or 2 weeks, and then they'll cycle keto 2 weeks and they'll go back to carnivore, and they're seeing a lot of really good results that way. I cheated, and I loved every second of it, but I will not talk to new people about stuff like that, because I find that new people come onto the ketogenic pathway, and they start following ketoers that have been doing it for 6, 7, 8 months, and those people haven't yet learned to stay away from artificial sweeteners and stuff that actually screw up your gut permeability, that screw up your digestive tract, regardless if you believe it or not. It does. It hinders that. It hinders mitochondria function. It overexcites neurons and stuff in your brain, or your neurological function. They do these things. Extra release of dopamine when it's not needed. Taxes insulin production. Even though glucose doesn't go up, you still have to have insulin to process things and get it to go somewhere, right? So there are other things that happen. For those of you that are a huge advocate to telling people, oh yeah, you can consume artificial sweetener, no problem at all. That's not the case. A lot of you need to do some more research and actually look into it and figure out not only what you want to hear, but the scientific research that's been done on it. Not just that it doesn't affect your blood glucose, that it affects other things in your body that can run you down. It can make you feel tired. It can make you feel more hungry. It can make you crave more things because you're doing what you're doing. Anyhow, the carnivore diet is really rewarding, and you yield great benefits from it, because a lot of those cravings, a lot of the pathway to the destruction that you were doing before just kind of disappears. You don't crave this stuff anymore. It just literally goes away. There's something about the way carbohydrates affect the body and make you crave and want things that you normally wouldn't crave. Some of you may be asking, how am I going to get my potassium? There's plenty of potassium in meat, and there's nothing wrong with using some no salt to supplement. Some of you are going to ask, how am I going to get my vitamin C? Well, there's a big argument on there's enough vitamin C in meat to actually sustain you, but you can take vitamin C as well. You can take a daily vitamin if you want. If you're not a purist carnivore that specifically wants to live off solely just animal products and not supplementing with anything, you're going to have to eat a lot of food. If you're not into eating that much food, there's nothing wrong with supplementing. There's nothing wrong with taking magnesium citrate before bed. There's nothing wrong with taking 5 to 10,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily with 100 micrograms of K2. There's nothing wrong with taking some vitamin C. There's nothing wrong with taking extra B12 if you're just feeling like you're low on energy and that helps you. Nothing wrong with that stuff, because we're not on the purist side here. We're just on the carnivorous side. I use seasonings on my food because the fiber is what affects me, not the seasoning itself. So I use the cleanest seasonings I can find. I don't cook with olive oil. I don't cook with coconut oil. Those oils I don't see the need for, because I got plenty of fat on my food. I got real butter that I use. I got ghee. Those things, after you use them for so long, you go back to other things, and it's just like, I'd rather not even tempt it. Anyway, this video has been long enough, and yes, I cheated, and I'm not going to say I'll never do it again, but I have a lot of control over myself to where I just don't want to do it again. And when that day comes, I'll be open and honest about it, and I'll cheat 100% wholeheartedly, and I'll give it everything I got to cheat and love every second of it, but then go right back to carnivore the next day. The reason I do that is because I have control of myself. The reason I do that is because I've learned how to protect myself along my journey. But as a new person, as a person that still constantly needs artificial sweeteners, that constantly finds the reason to dip into the batch of fat bombs daily, as a person that constantly tries to stay away from whole food or stray away from whole food, I think I would wait if I was you. I wouldn't go cheating and slipping and doing all that stuff until you've got some time under that belt of yours and you've learned how to get back on track with 100% efficiency and not slip off. If you do slip off, obviously you get back on. Don't ever think that, oh, it's all right, you're going to be okay. Because once you start with that mentality, I see a lot of people that fail over and over and over again. I want you to feel kind of disciplined with yourself to the point where you're like, man, that was silly. Why did I do that? I should not do that again. And then actually try not to do it. Don't beat yourself up over it, but don't be like, hey, it's okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to pick yourself up and you're going to jump right back on there again and you're going to be all right. let's go fix some bulletproof coffee with 6 tablespoons of sweetener. If you do that, if you're that kind of person, you're going to fail over and over and over and over again. Hold yourself accountable. Actually feel some kind of emotion that you slipped, so you can actually teach yourself not to do that. If you always think, oh, it'll be okay, you're going to keep continuing to do it over and over and over again. Guys, I work with many different groups. I know the thought. I see the thought. I see people preaching that thought. And those same people come back failing time and time again because they don't hold themselves accountable. Don't beat yourself up over it, but realize what you're doing and come up with a plan next time so you try not to do it. And if you do slip, if you do cheat, make sure it's methodical. Make sure you got the time under your belt, you can control yourself, and you know how to get yourself out of it. You know how to feel better. All right, guys. 15 minutes, that's it. Take care. Keto on, carnivore on, and remember, this is your life. Live it the healthy way. Yeah, mechanic hands. Sorry, guys, mechanic hands. Live it the healthy way.